All right, so in the weeks leading up to Thanksgiving, thought I'd go over the Thanksgiving themed movies that I watch pretty much every year. Um, there's not that many that personally I know of or put in that category, and there's other things that I are obviously Thanksgiving. I know there's like a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. I've never seen anything Charlie Brown, so cannot include that. But there is a core set of movies that I just absolutely love, and yeah, they're perfect this time of the month movies for sure. The first one is a 1991 John Hughes movie, directed by Peter Feynman, and that is Dutch. This has Ed O'Neill, who, of course, he's been in some movies. Obviously, he's most famous for his TV show, Married with Children. But as an actor, as a leading man in a movie, he is excellent. His comedic timing and everything is just perfect. And he brings a great sense of drama and a couple of the scenes that definitely need it as well. And the thing that gets me about his performance in this is he plays this. He's a little bit goofy, and it's not in a way that makes him unattractive as far as Jo Beth Williams. You know, you don't see why she would like him. You understand why she would like him because he brings this sense of, yeah, he's a little bit goofy at times, but he's also smart and well-to-do and knows how to take care of himself and he spends the entire movie showing why he would be attractive, even though, yeah, he does have that goofy side. For those who have not seen it, basically, she is a single parent living in, you guessed it, Chicago, and Dutch is Ed O'Neill, her new boyfriend, and she has a rich, pompous son who is down in Georgia somewhere at this prep school. And Christopher McDonald is the ex-husband who, of course, everyone knows him from Happy Gilmore, but he plays such a sleaze in this, and of course, he's great. So basically, Dutch says, well, there's a win-win-win here. I will drive down to Georgia, pick up your son, bring him back for Thanksgiving. And so it's one of those classic John Hughes stories of being on the road. I mean, there might be another John Hughes movie coming up in this series, but definitely it has that hijinksy feel. The cover says it's like Home Alone with Bart Simpson, and I don't get the Home Alone aspects really all that much. Yeah, there's a younger kid in it, but he's like, I mean, you have Ethan Randall who plays the kid, and he's like 13 or something, 12 or 13. So he's not like the 9-year-old Kevin from Home Alone. He's definitely a little bit more mature, and the hijinks that they get into is not necessarily from Ethan Randall's viewpoint. It's from Ed O'Neill. Take for instance the fireworks scene, where it's not a movie obviously unless you have the kid and the mom's new boyfriend who is working class. You know, obviously they have to feud throughout the entire movie. So what better way to perhaps become friends than buy some fireworks and just have some fun? And you see Ed O'Neill's character bringing out his inner kid self in that scene, as well as other scenes. There's circus music playing in this scene, and it's one of many scenes that just shows you that sometimes you have to be an adult around young adults, but also sometimes letting your inner child out is important as well. I think, obviously he's messing around with fireworks, which are dangerous, something that kids don't want to do, but he's goofing around and just having a fun time. And that scene there is kind of a scene that really expresses lots of other scenes, and to me that one is really important in more ways than one, even though it doesn't come off as much, other than just some goofiness. But there's scene after scene after scene in this that's hilarious. Features a song by Yellow Stella called "Oh Yeah," which has been used in several movies, and famously it's in this one. There's some adult themes in this. It's a PG-13 movie, but there is a little bit of nudity, a little bit of language, but it shouldn't be an R-rated movie. But it is a movie. It's one of those movies that if you have a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, and if they're not already watching a bunch of R-rated movies, or maybe if you have like a 9 or 10-year-old, I think this is great to kind of start introducing them to more adult themes, but keeping it light at the same time. And then the movie does get, it starts off crazy, and it's crazy throughout, but there is some heartfelt scenes in it, and some important scenes that really sways a character from being this, rich kid who thinks that he's the best in the world, and brings him down to a level of, like he calls, working class. And there's a great shot that if you're not paying attention, you might miss it. But throughout the movie, you're wondering, well, she's rich. She's obviously living off the ex-husband. It talks about her coming from a poor background. So you got to wonder, well, this Dutch character, is he going to be able to provide for them if the ex-husband stops supporting her? And he mentions here and there about, he works for a construction company, and he makes a decent amount of money. And then you see at the end that he actually owns his own construction company, and so you realize that he probably makes a lot of money, but he doesn't have to show it off. He doesn't have to prove anything. He wants to get by without relying on other people or using his money to get by. And there's just a lot of great themes in the movie to really pay attention to. And on top of that, it's hilarious. And there's a whole bunch of scenes. You can watch this movie and say, remember that scene of the scene in the car with the prostitutes, that scene. But really, when you come down to it, if you do that, you're going to say, there's going to be every single scene in the movie that you will be able to say, look at that scene, look at this scene. So really, the entire movie is great, and it's not just a collection of funny or classic scenes or something like that. But this is one that, of course, I like last week when I was talking about Ernest Scared Stupid. This was one that I always saw as a young kid, off of a recorded from TV VHS tape. And I have watched multiple times, and as a kid, I liked all the crazy moments. But and then as you got older, the movie, it just gets better and better and better, because you start realizing extra things you may not have noticed as a kid. As with most any movies that have multiple themes to them. But unfortunately, I don't know how well this is known. It didn't make much money at the box office. As far as how many people know about it or have seen it, I don't know that many people. But then everyone who has seen it, they pretty much like it. I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, it wasn't for them" or something like that. No. It's better than what you would think about if you thought it was just going to be like one of those movies that if you don't know about it, maybe it's not that good. No. This is actually very, very good. So if you have not seen it, I highly recommend, obviously, to go see it, especially since this is the perfect time to see it. And if you have seen it, let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you think it deserves to be up there with lots of other movies by John Hughes. Even though he didn't direct it, he wrote it. I don't know where I would place it amongst his other movies as far as like how good it is, but it's one of the ones that I watch the most out of all of his movies, considering it's pretty much a yearly tradition that I do watch it. And very few of John Hughes movies can I watch multiple times like that. This is easily, by far the movie of his that I've seen the most. And it never gets old. So yeah. And if you've never seen it before, thank me later on in the comments after you have sought it out and seen it. And well, next week I always have to remember how many Thanksgiving movies I watch every year, but there's at least 4. There's one new one that's going to be one I watch every year. But there's a small handful, and you'll have to see next week to see what the next one is. And it's going to be a classic, I can tell you that.